Welcome back to Next Gen Investing's 2024 year in review. And so to discuss right now all things FOMO, and of course we're looking at Tesla, is Caroline Wood, senior markets correspondent for the network. And Caroline, as we know, because we discuss this name probably multiple times every single day, there's a lot of themes now to watch into the new year, a lot of expectations, but it's been really a post-election move to watch. I have been shocked and surprised to the upside. So walk us through your thoughts here as we watch now these key trends into 2025.
Hey there, Jenny. Yes, I'd say that Tesla is a perfect FOMO candidate, especially the back half of the year. More specifically, really the final 2 months of the year. We've seen this huge election, President-elect Trump tailwind for Tesla shares. Tesla was trading around $235 ahead of the election and then surged higher than $480 a share. So it's seen this really impressive run higher. And I think, in terms of the questioning around why is President Trump good for electric vehicles, knowing that he's been critical of EVs in the past, and we're actually expecting his camp to roll back many of those EV incentives when he actually takes office. Wall Street's expecting that, and some of the tax credits are worth $7,500 for new EVs. That wouldn't be good news for Tesla, but the bulls think that Tesla is actually in a better position to withstand the rollback of those than its competitors. But this really is all around a regulatory-friendly White House. The bulls think that President-elect Trump will be, friendlier in terms of the regulatory environment, and that should benefit Tesla. It could mean good things for Tesla's full self-driving initiatives. Dan Ives over at Wedbush, who we've also talked about probably 1,000 times on the show, said, "We believe the Trump White House the next 4 years will be a total game changer for the autonomous and AI story for Tesla and Musk over the coming years. We estimate the AI and autonomous opportunity is worth at least $1 trillion alone for Tesla, and we fully expect under a Trump White House these key initiatives will now get fast-tracked as the federal regulatory spiderwork that Musk and company have encountered over the past few years around FSD and autonomous clears significantly under a new Trump era." So hiked his price target to $515 a share, has a bull case in 2025 for $650 a share. We also saw Mizuho hike to $515 for similar reasons, saying we expect Tesla's leadership across EVs, solar battery storage, and charging infrastructure should allow the company to better weather the storm than less established peers as the Trump administration removes subsidies for key end markets. I will say there still are, those that are more cautious. Truist does point to the fact that this huge 70+% post-election move that you had mentioned isn't linked to the company's Q3 results or outlook. And if you reflect back, Tesla actually reported better than expected earnings, but revenue actually fell short of what analysts were looking for. And deliveries, while they did increase about 6% after 2 quarters of declines, they also fell shy of what Wall Street was looking for. So you wouldn't necessarily look at the numbers and think that they may justify, some 90+% year-to-date gains. But, I think if you take a look at the earnings deck as well, Tesla said, despite ongoing macroeconomic conditions, we expect to achieve slight growth in vehicle deliveries in 2024. So I do think that, this is very much seems to be more around the regulatory side than the car side. But for so long, the bulls have looked at Tesla as much more than just a car company. Another potential catalyst, too, is the increased popularity of the Cybertruck. It's something we've talked about a lot on the show. We've started to see more and more on the roads. And actually, it's the third best-selling, or it was the third best-selling EV in the U.S. in the third quarter, despite a pretty hefty price tag. The Kelley Blue Book said, despite a 6-figure price tag, average transaction price in September was north of $116,000, and more than 16,000 Cybertrucks were sold in Q3. In fact, the Cybertruck outsold every other available EV except for other Teslas, the Model Y and the Model 3. So we're starting to see more of those on the road, and I think that they appeal to a broader camp now that Tesla is basically, Elon Musk is basically, President-elect Trump's right-hand man. We know he's leading the Department of Government Efficiency, but they've really, seemed to be kind of BFF in this election cycle. And that's helping Elon Musk get richer. It's helping Tesla shareholders, and it's helping Cybertruck sales as well.
Yeah, Caroline, very, very thorough, and you need to be in a name like this because there's so much to go through. But I was just kind of listening along. You have the kind of political aspect the Trump victory. Huge boon to the stock. Deliveries, though, kind of flat year over year if you're just comparing to 23, but 23 was a huge, performance jump from 22. But the stock's at all-time highs now. I don't even know if we got into the compensation package uncertainty and the shutting that down or not, but I love that you brought the Cybertruck in because although it was launched in November of last year, I'm seeing them on a daily basis now in Chicago. I don't know if they're on the streets of New York as much, smaller roads, maybe not, but a product that looked like it was going to be niche, it's still niche, but maybe a little bit more widespread adoption than many thought. What are your final thoughts on what's been just a roller coaster ride of a year for Tesla?
Alex, shockingly, I live in a high-rise with a parking garage that has pretty tight parking spots, and we even have Cybertrucks in there, and my building is constantly sending out emails asking people to remove their illegally parked cars, and more often than not, they're Cybertrucks because they're just so big. So they certainly are, more and more popular around where we are as well. I do think one thing that we haven't mentioned is also China. Obviously, there's increased competition in China, but there's also a lot of uncertainty about the U.S.'s relationship with China under another Trump presidency, given potential tariffs and a potential trade war kind of exacerbating. Now we know China is a key market for Tesla. Bulls like Dan Ives think that Tesla will get some carve-outs in China, but that's certainly a cloud of uncertainty for names like Tesla, like Apple, heading into the new year that I'm sure we'll certainly be talking about in 2025 and certainly be keeping an eye on. I think just the final kind of thought around Tesla as we see it trade very close to all-time highs is the fact that analysts have always been very, there hasn't been a clear consensus among analysts on a name like Tesla, like, say, for example, we've seen with NVIDIA. And if you take a look at the breakdown, 47% still have a buy rating, 30% have a hold, and then the rest are in the sell camp. The median price target, though, is 276, so significantly below where it's currently trading. Now, I mentioned Mizuho and Wedbush at 515. Those are the street highs. But if you take a look at all of the other price targets, they're actually below where Tesla is trading right around now. So I do think that that's important to note heading into the new year. But we've seen so many of these price targets have to get notched higher, and we'll see how this all kind of shakes out for Tesla shares. I will say that the lowest price target on the street is around $25 a share. That's for Gordon Johnson. He makes the case that Trump is actually bad for Tesla because he looks at it as a car company and thinks that the rollback will be bad. But he stuck with that very bearish price target all year, and it hasn't necessarily played out well for him.
I know, I can't believe how stubborn that is. I mean, it makes me mad because it completely skews the average and makes, the average then much lower with a $25 price target, basically. It's like $24.86, whatever. That makes me mad. I hope that he updates at least modestly, but I guess really sticking to his conviction, which I can respect. But it's like at some point you got to get over yourself and assess price as it has moved. But great breakdown and great insight as always, especially recapping the year that was in 2024. And I'm glad you mentioned the Cybertruck. I'm a fan. I know it has some mixed feedback, but I do like whenever I see one, it's sort of like a slug bug where you want to point it out to all your friends. But that's probably aging me. I will leave it there. Appreciate it, Caroline Woods.